boy, what a week. What a week, I gotta say. Alright, at least it's gonna be a good time to get things started. And it looks like, yes, we are live. We are starting things out. The chat is live. It is in action. And I think we might as well get things started. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And for this episode, let me tell you guys, even though there have been some things that have happened a little bit, the biggest thing that we are going to start things off is actually going to be regarding what happened last weekend. And during last weekend, I would like to emphasize that's going to take up probably most of the episode, or those are going to be the biggest stories of the week. Considering just after the last episode, we have received both probably one piece of news that people really got excited about, and another one that really got the opposite reaction where people got highly disappointed about. So, with all that said and done, I'm just giving you a little bit of a preview of what's going to be happening in this episode, but either way, I can definitely guarantee you that we are going to have a lot of fun. So, I would like to ask the chat wall right now, guys, are you all ready for this week's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me go ahead and hear you guys say it! Okay, let's see now. Are people ready? Yes. It seems that, it looks like, people are prepared. Okay, definitely. Great! So, people are ready, people are all set, and I think we can finally begin with our first story. And this actually happened on the night of the last episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and of course, I'm not going to stall it any longer. It is definitely, of course, the biggest night in animation of the year, and I am referring to, of course, the Annie Awards, in which a surprise twist, the big winner turned out to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, the thing with Spider-Man is that it only got 7 nominations at the Annie Awards. However, whatever it got nominated for, it actually won. That means that it received 7 Annie Awards in total. These awards would include for Best Directing, Best Writing, Best Character Animation, Best Character Design, Best Production Design, Best Editing, and of course, Best Animated Feature. However, considering that it is only nominated for 7 Annie Awards, that doesn't mean it actually got all of them. In fact, some other animated films actually did receive a few Annies by themselves. Now, for those movies, these would include, of course, Mirai winning for Best Independent Animated Feature. We also got Incredibles 2 that did manage to get 2 Annie Awards by themselves, which I do believe would include Best Storyboarding and Best Music. There's also Ralph Breaks the Internet, which actually won for Best Animated Effects, and also Isle of Dogs, which is my #1 pick for Best Animated Film of 2018, actually won for Best Voice Acting for Bryan Cranston's performance as Chief. And on top of that, some other projects did receive some Annies, of course, including Mary Poppins Returns actually receiving 2 Annies for Best Animated Special Production and Best Character Animation in a Live-Action Production. Other winners, well, of course, it's not just about the movies, but there is also the TV shows, in which the biggest winners in there, of course, it wouldn't be the Annies without Disney Mickey Mouse winning a few Annies by themselves, and it actually managed to walk away with 3 Annie Awards. I don't remember which ones they've gotten, but I'll double check later. But then there's also Hilda, which actually won 3 Annie Awards, including Best Animated TV Show for Kids. Other winners, I'll go and list down some of the bigger ones that actually did win. We actually got Weekends that won for Best Animated Short, Best Virtual Reality Production for Crow the Legend, winning for Best Virtual Reality Production. We got Greenpeace, There's Orangutan in My Bedroom, winning for Best Commercial. We got Ask the Storybots, winning for Best Preschool Show. And also BoJack Horseman winning for Best and General Audience Animated TV Show. So that's the big summary of all this. Oh, wait, hold on. There is one more. I forgot. It kind of, like, I'm using my source here in Variety, knowing the list of the big winners, and there's, like, a separation of the advertisements between Best General Audience and Best Student Film. Yes, Best Student Film went to Best Friends, so I thought that would be important to go and highlight, on top of many other winners, of course, that we could probably get into later. Okay, so... honestly, it is kind of an interesting twist that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse ended up being the big winner, considering that the ones who have gathered the most nominations was actually Incredibles 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet, where Incredibles 2 got 11 nominations and Ralph Breaks the Internet winning 10. And judging by the patterns of what happened at past Annie Awards, you would think that they would lean a little bit more towards probably Incredibles 2 or even Ralph Breaks the Internet being the winner, but it looks like it is a bit of a surprise twist where they decided that, you know what, if Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is nominated for something, then give the award to that. Which is a bit of an interesting outcome, considering that it really does say a lot about the Annie Awards, that you could tell that in recent years, they can be a bit biased when they have a favorite movie. Now, I'm not necessarily pointing that out as a terrible thing. Like, it's not like back in the 2010 controversy when literally How to Train Your Dragon won every single award and shafting out, like, all the other nominations like Tangled and Frozen and Despicable Me and all those other films. Like, it's not, like, bias in a way where it was completely rigged. It's more bias in a way where they have a bit of a fanboy side into it, where when it's really obvious when the Annies obviously has a favorite animated feature of the year, and they would give it to them. We have also seen this in recent years happening with other films such as Inside Out, or last year's Annie Awards with Coco, when that film won every single Annie Award except for Best Independent Animated Feature. Again, this is not necessarily because, like, some companies are rigging the Annie Awards or stuff like that. Like, honestly, I don't know about you guys, I am sick and tired of hearing all those morons trying to spread conspiracy theories about, oh, Disney is rigging all the award shows so that they can win all the awards. Oh, for God's sakes, those are absolutely stupid, and I'm tired of those garbage things. But going back into this, again, this is not to say that they are a bit biased in the way that they make things rigged. It's more like bias in a way that they're a little bit like fanboys where they just love it too much to the point of giving it to them. But I just want to emphasize, though, this is not necessarily to reflect negatively on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because, of course, many of the awards that it got, it absolutely deserve it, because a lot of these are very well done in their own right, and even deserving of their own awards. Like, I definitely do agree with the innovative use of animation that it has done in that film. I don't see why not it would go and get awards like Best Character Design, or Best Character Animation, or Best Production Design, or even Best Directing. The fact that this movie would have 3 directors and manage to work something out very well to the point of actually releasing it as something like this. Like, normally a movie with 3 directors is often a bad sign, but the fact that these 3 with Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Ronnie Rodman, like, they all work together so well to create such a beautifully crafted animated feature. That is definitely amazing, and certainly deserving of an award. And especially, like, with all the different animation categories, like I said before, the animation here in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse can be best described as innovative. It really is an animated feature unlike anyone has ever seen, and probably the closest thing we have ever seen to literally a comic book coming to life, because that's kind of the intention with the visuals of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's not just making a superhero movie, but literally having the feeling that you're reading a Spider-Man comic, and this is kind of like the events that are kind of happening in your head in terms of what's going on. So it's like what's happening in your head. The team at Sony, they managed to project that onto this movie. So definitely a lot of these, they deserve to get all those very well. But one thing that I really do appreciate as well in terms of this year is that, considering that Spider-Verse only got nominated for 7 and won 7, that does leave room to all the other awards, because I'm sure it could be a bit controversial if it ended up winning all the awards. If it repeated like last year, where like Coco ended up getting all the awards, like, and the same thing would be here where Spider-Verse would get all the awards, then like, maybe there would be some people that would question about it, but then again, maybe not, because this is not Disney and Pixar, and there are those contrarians that want to be edgy and want to be different than all the others, saying like, I hate Disney, I hate Frozen, I hate Pixar, blah, 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 you know, all that garbage bull crap. So there could be that kind of thing. But going back into the Annies, what I really do appreciate is actually the fact that it does leave room for others to go and win. So we do see a little bit of a variety that is going on. And especially one surprise would actually be the fact that Mary Poppins Returns actually did win a couple of them. Now, say what you will about the movie itself. Like, maybe you would like it, maybe you wouldn't like it, that's perfectly fine, but you cannot deny that the animation scene in that film, it was godforsaken amazing, and it definitely deserves to win some awards in its own right. And I'm glad to see that it actually walked away with not 1, but 2 Annie Awards. It absolutely is very well deserved. And I probably mentioned this in a previous episode of the animation podcast, not animation podcast. I gotta get that out of my vocabulary. You might have heard me say this in AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, but you can actually go and check out the animation scenes on YouTube right now. They are available to go and check it out for free, so I highly recommend at least you guys go and check those out. It is absolutely beautiful, and to me at least, it really did make, like, that scene alone really made watching Mary Poppins Returns absolutely worth it. I still highly enjoy it to this day. But also some of the other nominations, like even Disney did win a few, like with Incredibles 2 actually winning for Best Storyboarding and also for Best Music, and also Ralph Breaks the Internet winning for Best Animated Effects, I believe. I just want to double check. Is it the correct thing here? Yes. Okay, so it is, yeah, Ralph Breaks the Internet actually did win for Best Animated Effects. And, you know, when you do think about it, like, even though a lot of people, like, they would go and try to slam on Ralph Breaks the Internet and stuff like that, and complaining about how the ending is not like the way that they want to, you cannot deny that the animation in there is still very well crafted. And on top of that, like, when you do think of the animated effects, yeah, it definitely does deserve to get an award in itself, considering that, like Spider-Verse, Ralph Breaks the Internet presented a wide variety of animation styles, not just in terms of designs, but even the way that the characters would move, and even in terms of the effects that it would present, especially when you see all the different worlds that would be, like, glitching, or even right at the end when you see, like, the giant evil Ralph that is actually made out of all these little Ralph viruses. You know, it is very well done and a great achievement from Disney. So it definitely is a great, you know, something that definitely deserves to have an award in itself. And as for voice acting in Isle of Dogs, that one is an interesting choice. I forgot what the other nominations would actually be, but with the choice of having Bryan Cranston as Chief being the winner for this year, you know, it is actually interesting, but it is true that he actually did do a very solid performance. Not only delivering the deadpan comedy that is kind of like a signature style in terms of Wes Anderson's performance, but even with Bryan Cranston, he did deliver some of his own acting chops onto Chief, and yeah, it is a very solid performance, and like Bryan Cranston did play a pretty big part in making Chief a memorable character in Isle of Dogs. So I do understand the choice in there, and at least I am happy to see that it actually did get a win. Like, at least Isle of Dogs did actually get some recognition and a win at the Annie Awards, because I believe it didn't really get a lot of nominations. I think Isle of Dogs only got 4. Like, it really got shafted in plenty of the other awards. Like, I can understand in some of the animation categories, but like I said, like one of the things I disagree with the most is the best directing category. Like, you're not gonna put Wes Anderson, but you would nominate Genndy Tartakovsky for a piece of crap like Hotel Transylvania 3. That's just freaking shameful, dude. But anyways, going back into some of the other nominations now. I can't really speak myself for many of the TV shows and stuff like that, but we do have a bit of a variety of winners. I've already mentioned stuff like Hilda and Disney Mickey Mouse, of course. But we also got Troll Hunters, Tales of Arcadia, being the winner for Best Animated Effects. I just want to see some of the others. Best Character Animation in a Video Game apparently goes to Gris. We got Rapunzel's Tangled Adventures winning for Best Character Design in a TV show. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? We got Age of Sail winning for Best Production Design, which is kind of weird because that's technically an animated short that you would find on, like, Google Stories. Let's see, some of the other ones. Oh, we actually did get a tie, funny enough, where Best Storyboarding actually went for both Disney Mickey Mouse and Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, and of course, BoJack Horseman actually did walk away with 2 Annie Awards, not just for Best General Audience TV Show, but also for Best Voice Acting for Will Arnett's performance as BoJack himself. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Oh, well, I guess the last thing to mention as well would be the Big Hero 6 series winning for Best Editing. So, of course, I can't necessarily speak for myself in terms of, like, what I think regarding some of the TV shows, but you can definitely tell there is a much larger variety, and especially when the grand majority of the nominations, they're all TV shows that only got 1 nomination or maybe 2, so you know, it definitely shows that it is nice to see like, we got a variety of different TV shows actually winning an Annie Award. It's not like fully one-sided, just like many of the movies that would happen at the Annies. Now, I would probably go a little bit controversial onto this, but there are a couple of awards that I would say that I don't necessarily agree with. And funny enough, coincidentally, I would say that I would have given those awards to Isle of Dogs. The 2 categories that I don't necessarily agree with in terms of the winners, I would say one is for Best Music. Now, this is not a knock against Michael Giacchino. A lot of his works are absolutely fantastic. I love his music, rather it be in Pixar films or in some live-action films like the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy. But when you do think about it, like, when you do look at plenty of the other award shows and what they would put in their categories, you would frequently see Isle of Dogs be nominated for Best Score. Like, it seemed like undeniably, it looked like Isle of Dogs would be kind of like what's unanimously agreed as the best the best score in an animated feature. So you would expect that maybe the Annies would easily just hand the winner to Isle of Dogs, so at least it could have 1 win for Best Score. But giving it to Incredibles, I don't know, it's just, I'm a little bit iffy on that. So I felt like it would have probably done Isle of Dogs justice, where it would be nominated so much on that, but actually get that win in the Annie Awards, where it seemed like it would be the most likely that it could get that kind of award. And then also another one, and this is probably the most controversial opinion, probably, maybe, I don't know. It would actually be for Best Writing, which is one of them that actually did win for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And again, that's another one that I would have given to Isle of Dogs. Again, this is not a knock against Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. In terms of what it did in its writing, it did very well. I wouldn't say that it's perfect writing, but it did do a pretty solid job on its own. But one thing that I would say is that this is something that I've already stated in my top 5 best and worst animated films of 2018, and why I place Isle of Dogs as the #1 best. It would be because of the pure originality. With Spider-Verse, they already had some source material to go and work with. They already have a story that kind of already exists with characters like Miles Morales or Peter Parker or Spider-Man Noir or Gwen Stacy or Penny Parker and stuff like that. So, like, in a way, Spider-Verse is kind of an adaptation. It's not fully original, but Isle of Dogs it is 100% original. It's not based on anything. It's a pure original story in itself. And I think in terms of that merit, it should have some kind of priority to actually go and receive a win. Especially, it's not just the fact that it is original, but a very well crafted original animated feature that deserves some kind of recognition. So that's why I want to point out that maybe Isle of Dogs deserve to also get that nomination, and yes, even over Spider-Verse. But then again, these complaints are minor, and this is not to go and undermine the works and the wins that have been received from the actual winners, like with Spider-Verse or Incredibles 2. But with all that said and done, I would actually say, probably the only thing that I can go and conclude is just congratulations to all the winners at the 46th Annie Awards, and major congrats to the team at Sony for their major wins on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I will be seeing you guys all next year. So, with all that said and done, let's go right into the chat wall, and I would like to go and ask, what do you guys think about this year's Annie Awards? Are you happy with all the winners that we got with Spider-Verse? Are you happy about some of, like, the little variety of wins? Are you guys disappointed? Are there some that you agree? Are there some that you don't? Let me know what you guys think. Okay, let's see. Alright. I haven't really seen Into the Spider-Verse yet, but I am glad for the awards that it won. I'm also glad for other films such as Ralph Breaks the Internet, Isle of Dogs, and Incredibles 2, but honestly haven't seen the latter yet, but I'll see it on Netflix. Also, I really loved Isle of Dogs, but my mom thought it was okay. She didn't really like the visuals that much since she thinks that some of the dogs look weird. Same thing with Fantastic Mr. Fox, she's not used to the style of Wes Anderson. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Wes Anderson, it takes a while to get into his style, but once you start to get into it, then, like, you really got the ball rolling. So, let's see now. Who else do we got? I'm glad Spider-Virus, I think that person meant Spider-Verse. I'm glad that Spider-Virus left others to win, such as Isle of Dogs, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Incredibles, as well as Mary Poppins Returns. It gives it more of a variety, and not to give too much to Spider-Verse, even if it did get good feedback. Although I wish Isle of Dogs won a few more awards, it's just as good. Yeah, I think, like, the only reason why there is a bit of a variety is because Spider-Verse was not as nominated as much. So, honestly, I feel like in that case, the other winners like Incredibles 2 and Isle of Dogs and Ralph Breaks the Internet, it's more the fact that they were lucky. Because if I do got a feeling, knowing the Annies, if there was a nomination in that category, Spider-Verse would have easily got it, because again, the Annie Awards can have a bit of that mentality of, okay, is that film nominated? Okay, just give it to that, whatever. We don't need to examine anything. Okay, let's see what else. I am glad that Spider-Verse won a lot of Annie Awards, but then again, I am not that surprised because we had a lot of great animated movies in 2018, and Disney winning again would just sign that they would give no studio a chance. Also, AniMat, did you hear that the Lego Movie 2 had a disappointing opening on Friday? Yes, I did. Maybe I'll talk about it in a future episode, but it's not Disney who chooses, guys. That's the thing. It's not, like, you gotta keep in mind, guys, it's not Disney who chooses. It's the award shows. Like, really, talk to a CFL Hollywood if you have a problem with Disney winning too many Annies. It's not Disney's fault that they make animated films really good. Or tell the other animation studios like freaking, DreamWorks or Warner Brothers and stuff like that to make better films. I mean, at least freaking Sony listened to get up to, to really lift up their standards with Spider-Verse. Like, go ask them. Like, there's no point in complaining at Disney. If you're complaining at Disney, you're just complaining at freaking nothing. I'm just saying, guys. Alright, anyways, going back into this, do we have any other? I'll just read one more. Alright, let's see now. For the Annies, I'm glad Spider-Verse got some award. I'm glad that Spider-Verse got some awards, but I feel like it got too much. I know people want non-Disney animated films to win, but Incredibles 2 was an anticipated sequel for nearly 14 years. People hate on it only for the villain, but it was still a great fun movie. For the rest, I don't know what to say besides Hilda winning awards, which I still need to watch. Let's hope the Oscars has good wins too. Oh, that's almost one thing that I forgot to mention about. It's actually regarding the Oscars. Yes, so I think the signs are really showing that Spider-Verse seems to be a very strong contender, even much stronger than Incredibles 2 than even I thought. So now it does seem like maybe Spider-Verse could get a win. But then again, I still feel like it could be a 50-50 chance between Spider-Verse and Incredibles 2 because you never know. The Oscars can often have a reputation of going rogue with Best Animated Feature, and sometimes they can go like, whoop, here's for this movie. So you never know, but I feel like in terms of the Oscars, we still have to wait and see. But again, Spider-Verse is showing strong signs that it could get the gold, but for the Oscars, it's still 50-50. So we just gotta have to go and wait and see. Okay, so I think we're pretty much all good with the Annie Awards, and we're gonna wait until next year to see what crazy shenanigans are going to happen next year. So, with that said and done, let's go and move on to our next story. And while we are happy and celebrating about the wins of Spider-Verse and some of the other animated films like Incredibles 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Isle of Dogs, this one, however, this also did happen during last weekend, and man, did it upset some people. This got the opposite reaction of Spider-Verse winning awards, and man, people were not happy about this. So guys, let's go ahead and talk about the Super Bowl. Yes, apparently, overall, like in terms of the entirety of the Super Bowl game, Super Bowl 53, it turned out to be a massive disappointment. Now, it's not necessarily the case that, oh, it was a terrible game because there was like some kind of right-wing mass shooting going on, or like somebody died or someone got seriously injured or anything like that. It's none of that case where it's like it's bad because it's tragic. It's just bad overall because it was freaking boring. People expected some very high scores, but in fact, it only ended up being like very low scores, and the game itself, like there was a lot of defense going on, but not as much like probably too much to the point that it's no longer interesting to go and watch. And the scores were kept really low, where it ended up being just 13-3, which by football standards is just extremely low. And of course, it's the New England Patriots that won once again, that people say that it's the football team that got way too much wins, which means that it is another win for everyone's least favorite football player, Tom Brady. But that's not going to be what we're going to talk about. And by the way, I know nothing about football, and that's just based on information that I got from my friends and family, so don't quote me on that. And anyways, going back into what I was talking about, the real reason that we're discussing about this is actually going to be regarding the halftime show. And this halftime show turned out to be equally as disappointing as the actual game itself because of how dull and boring it was. But that's not the thing that really got people upset. What people really did get upset is the massive disappointment of not getting one particular song. Because for a long time, in fact, ever since the passing of Stephen Hillenburg, people have been demanding for the Super Bowl to play the song Sweet Victory in the SpongeBob SquarePants episode Band Geeks during the halftime show. They want that little segment to happen in honor of Stephen Hillenburg. And ever since then, like that kind of petition, that kind of demand really got viral on the internet, where even the Super Bowl started to take notice. And slowly but surely, we were starting to see a bit of signs that maybe it is gonna happen. Like, there have been people who were talking that, yeah, there is a chance that they are considering to put it in. We saw a bunch of previews, especially for the halftime show, where they hinted that there is a bit of SpongeBob that's going to be involved in there. And even at that point, when people from SpongeBob would talk about it, they did mention that there will be an appearance from SpongeBob and the gang during the halftime show. So a lot of SpongeBob fans were anticipating and waiting to see if Sweet Victory would come up during the halftime show of the Super Bowl. But that doesn't seem to really be the case. What actually did happen was this little piece of flash animation that went really quickly. I think it only appeared for 5 seconds, and that's it. And it showed the characters dressed up like they did in Band Geeks. You see Squidward, SpongeBob, and the whole gang dressed up just like how they were at the end of that episode. But it turns out that they only were there just to introduce the rapper Travis Scott for the song Sicko Mode. And that pretty much was it. All that for a teaser that would ultimately lead to nothing. And from there, holy crap, it led to some massive outrage. You could definitely bet that people were just extremely upset, not just at the show itself, but also the fact that they ignored putting in a Sweet Victory from SpongeBob. And honestly, even for me, because I would have to say, in my perspective about this whole thing, it really did change. Now, admittedly, I will say that the first time that I did see this happen, the first time that I ever heard that apparently they tried to make this happen, the first time that I heard the petitions going around regarding that they want to put up Sweet Victory during the Super Bowl in honor of Stephen Hillenburg, I first thought that there was no way that it was going to happen. I thought it was one of those crazy petitions that people would usually make on social media, those change.org bullcrap things that it was never going to happen, and it's filled with nothing but dumb fanboy requests and all that kind of stuff. I thought it would seem like an impossible thing. But then, slowly but surely, I start to take notice of all the little hints that maybe they would consider doing it, and that it could actually happen. Especially, I remember there was this one preview of Maroon 5 playing during the halftime show. They showed a bit of a trailer of that, and they would show some of the other special guest stars that would appear at the same time, like Travis Scott and Big Boy. And then you saw this one little clip, you blink and you miss it, and it showed SpongeBob, hinting the possibility that yes, we would actually see SpongeBob playing Sweet Victory during the Super Bowl. But more and more, you see those hints, it started to become more and more and more believable. And then right at the end, at this moment, I actually did end up seeing the Super Bowl because me and my family, we had a surprise Super Bowl party, which we kind of threw in right at the last second, hey guys, come on in, let's have a Super Bowl party, stuff like that, just to watch the game. And I remember, I saw watching it that originally they first presented Squidward and the gang for the halftime show. You saw Squidward introducing the whole segment, or not the whole segment of the halftime show, but just for that little moment, you see Squidward and now the artist that doesn't need any introduction, and I got excited. It's oh my god, this is it. And then suddenly you see the meteors coming down, and then you see Travis Scott coming in with his car for Sicko Mode. It's wait a minute, this is not Sweet Victory. Wait, what's going on? Wait, is that it? That can't be just it. And while it was going on, I was just thinking to myself, this can't be it. Is this it? Is this all there is? Is that it? And apparently, yeah, that was it. Suddenly they ended off, and I felt just like Patchy at the end of, what was it? The Lost episode? In the Lost episode of SpongeBob, they started out playing with, SpongeBob, with this little walk cycle, and then suddenly when that thing ended, you just see Patchy, it's just that's it? That's what we've been waiting for? That was the Lost episode? What a ripoff. I felt just like that. It was really? That's all you guys did for this little moment? The moment we've been waiting for of Sweet Victory, and it's all that for a little 5-second cheap flash animation thing? Are you serious? That was it? And yeah, I was really upset over that. Like, it was a massive disappointment. And on top of that, I do understand the criticisms regarding the halftime show itself, that really that SpongeBob element, it really was a salt to an open wound, because the show itself, yeah, that one also did suck. Again, not necessarily because Maroon 5 did anything terrible or anything like that. That's not the case. It's just the fact that the show was just boring. It was just bland. It just felt like any other Maroon 5 concert, but just like condensed into 15 or 20 minutes. It was like that's all it felt. It's just like one of their lower tier concerts that they would do, like probably, or like worst case scenario, it just felt like what Maroon 5 did at the halftime show. Like, that's kind of like their little opening bit before introducing the real band that you paid your tickets for. That's what it was. And it really did suck, because the thing is, you're at the Super Bowl. You can't treat it like it's any of your other concerts. You seriously have to go big. You really have to upgrade your budget in order to do something unforgettable, something godforsaken spectacular with it. That's the thing with the Super Bowl. It is notorious as the one place where artists and singers, they really go big with their numbers in order to give out an unforgettable performance. And that's kind of the biggest crime that Maroon 5 did, is the fact that they delivered a performance that's just easily forgettable. Yeah, they sing some of their more popular songs like Move Like Jagger, but honestly, what's so different between this compared to like some of the other times when they would sing Moves Like Jagger and stuff like that? You know, it's like, you gotta put a, you know, I'm sure Maroon 5 can do much better than this. They could do better than that. And that's kind of the problem. Like, that's why I do get why it's kind of problematic in terms of the halftime show, where people didn't like it because it was just so boring. And honestly, going back into the scenario with SpongeBob, I could continue about what makes it so bad about not including Sweet Victory onto it, but honestly, I feel like the best way to describe it is actually, if you guys go and check out Joey Tedesco's video, you know, the guy from Cartoon Palooza, he actually made a really good vlog discussing about his thoughts regarding the Super Bowl, and especially the halftime show with the lack of Sweet Victory. And Joey actually said it best, that the reason why it's so upsetting that they didn't play Sweet Victory, it wasn't for SpongeBob, and it's certainly not for the sake of animation, because I have seen people saying that they were upset about SpongeBob not being in the halftime show because NFL is just disrespecting animation and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, NFL thinks animation is kid stuff by not putting SpongeBob in and all that kind of crap. That's not necessarily true. That's not really the thing that is really upsetting about this halftime show. I think the real thing that Joey said that is a major issue is because this whole segment, the reason why people wanted Sweet Victory during the halftime show, it wasn't for SpongeBob, it wasn't for animation, it was for Stephen Hillenburg. This would have been a great way to give out awareness about ALS, because that's what Stephen Hillenburg died of. It was because of ALS. And from there, it would have been great to see Sweet Victory being presented as a way to give awareness of ALS, that someone who gave us so much, like SpongeBob SquarePants, would die from ALS. So let's give you a little bit of a show to give you awareness of that, so we can find a way to go and donate money to organizations that can help find a way to cure ALS. That's kind of the big thing. It's not necessary. Again, this is not for SpongeBob. It's not for animation. It's for Stephen Hillenburg. And to do so in terms of a good cause, to raise awareness about a disease that needs to be eradicated. That's kind of the whole point of it all. And the fact that they missed that, it kind of shows a bit of a bad reputation for the NFL, stating that it's not that they don't care about SpongeBob, it's like they don't care about ALS. And that's kind of the negative publicity that the NFL is currently facing, on top of like the many layers of problems that happen during this year's Super Bowl. So it really shows how overall it really is just nothing but a big, massive disappointment. But I will say this, though. Even though the NFL didn't do anything, my favorite sport, hockey, actually did do something. Now, it's not necessarily the live halftime performance of Sweet Victory, but the Dallas Stars actually did do something, and this is directly from their YouTube channel. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of a clip of that.
Okay, fans, put your hands together for the Bikini Bottom Super Band!
These are some ugly-looking fish.
Maybe we're near one of those toxic waste dumps.
Okay, so for those of you that are only listening and don't understand what's going on, basically we are in the stadium of the Dallas Stars, and they are pretty much showing from the big TVs, like in the jumbotrons, like they're showing that clip from the episode Band Geeks, and instead of like your typical like, you know, the random clips of like live action football people just watching in the stadium, they were actually showing the stadium that is in the Dallas Stars. And also you see all the Dallas Stars fans just cheering on the sidelines instead of your typical football fans. That's kind of like the bonus that they've done. Also, on top of that, like if I go and continue, they do a little bit more. Let me just, I think it's, yeah, it's like up to here, I believe. Yeah, okay, it's like this part. If you look into the ice. So what they did, of course they put in more montage and clips of Dallas Stars fans watching the game, and on the ice you actually see projections actually saying green victory, because green is like the official color of the Dallas Stars. So it really is kind of a cool tribute. Again, not necessarily the big, not necessarily the big halftime show that people asked for, but at least it was something. At least it did do Sweet Victory right. And they, honestly, bravo for the Dallas Stars for actually doing something good with that. And, the funny thing is, with the Dallas Stars, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly that they want to do this because they knew that the NFL during the halftime show, they did mess up. Because what I used here is actually from the Dallas Stars official YouTube channel, and they actually did call the video itself Dallas Stars NHL Do Sweet Victory Justice. They knew exactly what they were doing, and admittedly, I do applaud the Dallas Stars for that. Even though I'm, like, as a hockey fan in general, I'm much more of a Montreal Canadiens kind of guy, but still, for what Dallas Stars did there, like, both as a hockey fan and a SpongeBob fan, Dallas, I definitely do applaud you. So overall, I would say that's pretty much the whole case with the massive disappointment of the halftime show during the Super Bowl. And I think at this point, it would probably be best to go and pass on to the mic to the chat wall. And I want to know, what do you guys think about the whole controversy regarding the halftime show with the lack of Sweet Victory? Let me know. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl this year? And do you have any thoughts regarding this whole controversy? Let me know what you guys think. I want to see what you guys would have to say. I want to see some interesting stories. All right, let's see now. Let's see. To quote Isle of Saul, if you're feeling disappointed by the Super Bowl showing of Sweet Victory, just sing it yourself. Sing it with passion in your heart to whoever will listen. It's not about having it played in a big flashy show. It's about playing it to honor the one who needed it most. Yeah, definitely true. Saul definitely has a great point there. I remember seeing that she said that on Twitter, and she does raise up a pretty good point. Let's see. I have no interest in the Super Bowl, but even then I was still disappointed. The lack of sweet victory was pretty much like real life version of Krabby Land, where Mr. Krab hypes the kids for something great, only for it to be another thing that is cheap and money grabbing. Absolutely. And you know the funny thing is that honestly, I actually feel like this is worse than nothing. Like, they wouldn't, like, honestly, the NFL would not necessarily be as much trouble, or, like, I don't know whose real fault was it. Maybe it's the NFL, maybe it's, Maroon 5 for not playing it, maybe it's, like, the other guests, like Travis Scott or Big Boy or something like that. But, honestly, this really is a scenario where it is worse than nothing, because it constantly teases its people, resulting in nothing. Because if they didn't bring out those hints that SpongeBob would be appearing at the Super Bowl or anything like that, then people would not necessarily care as much. But it's because of those constant teasers and teases that they hint out that, oh, maybe SpongeBob is going to make an appearance. Like, that's kind of the problem. Like, honestly, is the factor that they kept teasing us to something that would never even happen in the first place. Like, they should have known better, honestly. NFL should have really known better. If you're not going to do Sweet Victory, then you might as well not put in SpongeBob, period. It's just ridiculous. Or, like, honestly, it's one of three problematic people. It's either NFL, it's either Maroon 5, or it's probably Nickelodeon, so who knows in that case. Alright. Let's see. The funny thing is, I remember that a lot of people wanted Super Bowl to have Weird Al Yankovic perform during halftime. However, because of this, all I can say is be careful what you wish for. You might get it, but not in the most pleasant ways. I think, yeah, honestly, I have heard about some stories of people wanting Weird Al. And, like, as a major Weird Al fan myself, I would love to see a halftime show with Weird Al. But then again, like, the only reason that I've heard why he wouldn't do it is mainly because he would be too busy with either his next album or with some concerts right now. So that could be the case, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe there would be. I would definitely be down. Let's see. When I saw the clip of Squidward during the Super Bowl, I got so excited. I got so excited. Why the fridge can I not say that word? When I saw the clip of Squidward during the Super Bowl, I got so excited despite the bad animation, but I was so disappointed when it was not performed by the end. I later found out that the song was shown at the stadium before the game with a dedication to Hillenburg, but they should have put it in the game. Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing I forgot to mention is that apparently they did play Sweet Victory, and they did show it on the screens, but it did feel like a bit of a throwaway. Like, the whole point was to present it on television to give massive awareness during the biggest football game of the year. But in that case, it really did sound like NFL just didn't necessarily, they didn't necessarily care. They just wanted to be like a throwaway thing and not really put in as much effort. Alright, let's see now. What other comments do we have here? The people behind the animation of Squidward didn't know about this, apparently. They thought that they animated this to introduce Sweet Victory. That being said, it's not Nickelodeon or Maroon 5's fault. They respect Stephen Hillenburg, and I respect the team behind SpongeBob. Okay, so in that case, yeah, we'll definitely throw the blame onto the NFL. Okay, let's see. I never really complained nor even knew about anything about that Super Bowl controversy since I was not into sports, but I did find out later on YouTube, and it was nice to see him there, but I do hate rap music. But I do want to complain to Nickelodeon for doing the poor poor SpongeBob. Seriously, I know even SpongeBob himself would not approve of his use as nothing more than propaganda. I don't know if I would say propaganda. That's a bit extreme there. He's a great cartoon character. He doesn't deserve this kind of reputation. L. Okay. So, I think... Okay, hold on. We probably have a few more. So, let's see. I have a better idea for the halftime show for next year. Have the cast of Bohemian Rhapsody perform and open with Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury being carried on Adam Driver's shoulders. With him dressed up as Kylo Ren. What? I do get the idea, like, have some, like, have it be, like, Queen perform during the halftime show. But I don't know, like, with the addition of Kylo Ren, it was like, what the fridge kind of direction are you going there, dude? Oh boy, crazy idea. But then again, it might not be a bad idea. Okay, so with that said, I think we are all good with last weekend. So we've pretty much talked about the happy things with the Annie Awards and also with the disappointing things with the halftime show and SpongeBob. So now it is time that we shall go and move on to our next story, in which now we are going to go into the stuff that did happen later during this week. And I will say that with this one, though, it is a bonus miscellaneous. Now, this is a subject that I cannot pass on I cannot not discuss about this, because this is about something that I truly adore. It's about the Muppets, and we got some new reports about a brand new series of the Muppets that is coming up. And apparently, this is coming from my source in Splash Report, which is said to be a pretty good, reliable source in terms of, like, exclusive scoop and info regarding stuff like this. But apparently, Splash Report actually got some brand new reports regarding the all-new Muppet series that is actually going to be coming in the streaming service by Disney known as Disney+. So from there, let me go ahead and read you about the little piece of info that's going to be about this Muppet series. It states here that Josh Gad and the creative duo behind Once Upon a Time, Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, have created a show called Muppets Live Another Day. The show takes place right after the events of 1984's The Muppets Take Manhattan. Kermit disbands the gang, but they are brought back together after the mysterious disappearance of Rolf. And they also stated that it should be released sometime in 2020. So that's pretty much the big thing, is the fact that we got some piece of information regarding what are they going to do with this new Muppet series. Now, this is definitely a bit of an upgrade from what happened last time that the Muppets were on television. Now, I will say that in terms of the 2015 Muppet series, I'm probably in the minority where I would say I am a little bit more positive, where it is still entertaining. There are some merits where it has some good qualities to it. I do agree, though, that it is not the best thing by the Muppets, but I would say that it's not the worst thing from the Muppets. I've seen a few Christmas specials that are much worse and much more intolerable than the 2015 Muppet series. But it does seem that in this case here with Muppets Live Another Day, they are going in some of the more classic route of the Muppets. More specifically, it seems like the kind of direction that they would do in the Muppet movies, where they would go in a more narrative sense. They're pretty much rejecting that reality show fake concept, kind of like trying to be like The Office in a way. They're pretty much rejecting that, more in favor of a direction that the Muppets are more familiar with, more comfortable with, and that it could be a direction that would work. But one thing I will say right now, one thing that I really do have to question, it would actually be regarding the plot, what they want to do. Of the fact that it says here that Kermit disbands the gang, but they are brought back together after the mysterious disappearance of Rolf. So in a way, a part of this plot would be about bringing the whole gang back together. And that is concerning for me because I feel like we've already done this before. In fact, we've done this not too long ago with the 2011 Muppet movie. I mean, that's kind of the point of that whole film, right? Is because for a long time, the Muppets have kind of like separated in their own ways. But now they gotta get back, together in order for this one major cause, where in the 2011 movie, it's about saving the old Muppet Theater. But in this case right over here, is to go and try to find Rolf, because somehow he actually disappeared. I feel like this is a direction that we kind of already taken. And on top of that, considering that it is Muppets Take Manhattan, didn't that actually happen in the movie itself? Where there was at one point they tried very hard in order to go and try to make it on Broadway, but they failed to do so, so they decided to split in their own ways. Like, I feel like that was kind of a thing that in this movie that they've already done. So it does seem kind of confusing that, okay, so if this does take place after that movie, do they split up, then get back together, and then they split up again? That's something that I don't necessarily understand, and probably the one element that I feel like I am a little bit confused about. But going back into a bit of some of the positives, I will say that I do like the idea where now Rolf is a little bit more of a central character in this case. Rolf, I will say that I really do enjoy Rolf. He's one of my more favorite Muppets, and especially the fact that Rolf does have some very significant history. Now, for those of you who don't necessarily know Rolf, Rolf is actually known to be the first Muppet ever, or at least the first Muppet that Jim Henson would create that would go and have an entire legacy and still being used to this day, even before the days of Kermit. And with Rolf, with Rolf, going back to him, he's actually the dog that would always play the piano. That's what Rolf is known for. And, it is kind of cool to see how Rolf would be actually a little bit more significant in terms of the roles of the Muppets, because usually Rolf would be often used as the character that would be a part of the band, or he would be the side character that would help the characters out. Like one great example, in the 2015 Muppet series, they would use Rolf as like kind of a bar owner or something like that. Or, I think that would be the case. It's been a while since I've seen the series. In fact, probably, like, on television, that was the only times. I don't know if there are other ways that you can legitimately find the series and just watch it again. But anyways, going back into this, I do like the idea where we do make Rolf a little bit more of a significant and important character. So that I do find to be really nice. And I will admit, with the people that are involved, they do seem pretty promising. It's funny to see how Josh Gad is now being involved with the creative team. I don't know if that would also mean that he's going to appear in the show itself, but him teaming up with the people of Once Upon a Time, which that show, I know it gathered such a huge following during the time that it was on television and stuff like that, so honestly, I do feel like in terms of the people that are going to be working on the show, it definitely is in good hands that probably they would do something to bring back the spirit of the Muppets once again. Kind of like a way in order to recuperate themselves, to remind people how the Muppets were beloved back in the day, to move on from what happened during the 2015 series. Again, not the worst series, and I will say, like, during the second half of the show, they did try to improve on some things. Like, that's when the better episodes would be out, but other than that, like, the first half, yeah, like, I wouldn't blame you if you think that kind of sucked, but honestly, overall, with this series, I do feel like right now, it definitely is in good hands. Now, if it's fully true, if that's the case, I would have to see how they are going to do the plot itself to make sure that they don't completely repeat themselves like they did in Muppets Take Manhattan or even the 2011 Muppet series. But I would like to see if they can actually make something that would be enjoyable and bring back the original spirit of the Muppets. So, honestly, I am going to be looking forward to this, and I do have to say that it is kind of a unique twist to make it be set straight after Muppets Take Manhattan. So honestly, I hope for the best for this series, and according to Splash Report, they say that it's going to be coming out in Disney Plus in 2020, so let's just wait and see how it goes. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall right now, and I would like to go and ask you guys, what do you all think about this Muppet series? What do you think about Muppets Live Another Day? Do you think this is a show that you guys would be interested in? Would you guys be a little curious? Would you guys not be? I want to know, what do you guys all think about Muppets Live Another Day? Let's see now. Let's see. I love me some good Muppet action, so I will definitely be checking this one out if I can afford it. But let's be real, dudes. A new Muppet show sounds great, but who's just gonna wait for that commercial they promised for the Humped condoms? What in the name of Fridge are you talking about with the humped condoms? I don't know. Is that something from Happy Time Murders that I completely forgot about? I don't even want to know, dude. Or is it an actual commercial? Is it like an actual condom commercial? Because those things can go really weird. Let's see now. As a big Muppet fan, I'm really excited for this show, except I won't be able to see it. Disney Plus won't be available in Europe because of rules, and even if it was available here, I wouldn't pay for it. 2 questions. 1, will you do Muppet vlogs again with this new show? 2, why do you not consider puppetry as an animation medium? Animation consists of bringing inanimate stuff to life, and puppets, well, are inanimate stuff. Okay, well, I can answer question number 1, and I would say that, honestly, I have thought about it, and I will say right now, I am still thinking about it. Now, I would probably go and ask around if this would actually be something that people would legitimately be interested, but if I would bring, like, if it were my choice, if I were to bring back the Muppet vlogs to go and talk about the individual episodes of Muppets Live Another Day, I would consider doing it. You know, honestly, that kind of idea, I would say, don't rule it out just yet. So that's all I'm saying. Just like, don't rule it out. Let's just go and wait and see how this will go. Let's see now. The only thing that I'm sad about this upcoming series is that Steve Whitmire is not returning as Kermit. Then again, we have to he was a great substitute for Kermit after Jim Henson. He hasn't been getting along with the Henson family. Well, I mean, at that point, I think Matt Vogel is the new Kermit right now, and honestly, we need to give him a chance, and I think giving him a new series, like, we need to know how this is going to go. You know, like, we need to give Matt Vogel a chance to really show himself as Kermit. So far, like, he has been doing the live shows and the little Muppet Thoughts of the Week on YouTube, but we need to see, like, something a little bit bigger. Like, hopefully a big project like this can really prove how Matt Vogel can be like Kermit. So, honestly, that's all I could say. Like, yeah, Steve Whitmire has been an amazing Kermit for many years. I grew up with the Steve Whitmire Kermit, but, you know, I want to open up and see how Matt Vogel can do as Kermit. Okay, let's see now. Oh, okay, guys, just so you guys know, the Humpit Condoms was a reference to Nostalgia Critic. I know we don't talk about it anymore, but why not? Oh, it's a Nostalgia Critic. Oh, man, I gave up watching his content for a long time, so that's why I didn't know. Okay, but anyways, it looks like we are pretty much good with the Muppets, and I'm glad that we got this little chance to talk about this little Muppet series. And now it's time we are going to go and move on to our next story. And it's a little bit of an interesting transition, considering that we talked about a bit regarding Muppets Take Manhattan. We are going to be still staying in Manhattan, in fact. This time, and also, actually, another connection with this, is actually going to be regarding a Disney project. Now, we're not going to be talking about another Disney live-action remake, but something that is a little bit closer to that, though. And I'm going to be talking, of course, about a stage musical adaptation of Hercules. Yes, folks, Hercules is going to be coming to the stage. Hold on, let me just, okay, just need to clear my throat to get ready on this one, because the thing is with this is that the Public Theater has announced that as part of its Shakespeare in the Park summer lineup, one of which is actually going to be a stage musical based on the animated 1997 Disney film Hercules. And so far, the information that we do have is that, in fact, let me just read you a little bit from my source here on Broadway.com, stating here that the Public Theater will go the distance this summer. The off-Broadway nonprofit has announced a public works staging of Hercules, the musical based on... No, the musical is not based on a burp. Wow, that actually came out kind of smoothly than some of the other burps. But anyways, going back to this one. The musical will be based on Disney's 1997 animated film, slated to appear in the outdoor Delacorte Theater in Central Park, following 2 new Shakespeare in the Park mountings. Now, this stage show will be directed by LIII de Bessonnet, which he is also the founder of Public Works. And in fact, let me just go and read you a little bit of a quote that he actually stated here, in which LIII has said, "Many generations of our Public Works families have embraced Disney musicals as a shared American canon. Let's see, Hercules' roots in Greek mythology, infused with soulful gospel music, making it a natural extension of Public Works' radical exploration of humanity through Shakespeare and the classics. We're excited to see how this Public Works production will uncover the deeper meaning of what it means to be a hero and how true strength is derived, not from greatness of one person, but the transformative power of community." And by the way, I just want to put in a side note that when it comes to Public Works, they really do put emphasis on community, because this isn't a production that only professional actors would go, but they would also go and invite different community groups from all different sectors of New York, from the Bronx to Queens to Manhattan itself to all the different areas. They would bring them all together in order to go and make this one big show, which is something that they are also going to do with Hercules. Now, in terms of the people that are going to be involved, they do have a book that's going to be written by Christopher Diaz, and on top of that, this isn't just something that they're just going to do on the side. They're actually going to go and get some major help from Disney themselves, from Disney Theatrical Productions, on top of actually getting new music from lyricist David Zippel and Alan Menken. So this is, of course, something that Disney would be very happy to see happen, and they are going to give out a big helping hand onto making this. And on top of that, I just want to mention as well, in terms of the other shows that will be happening from Public Works, they will be doing, like, between May and June, they will do Much Ado About Nothing. And then they also got Coriolanus, that's going to be happening between July and August. And as for the Hercules one, that one is actually going to be a pretty short time, between the end of August to the beginning of September. Now, I gotta say that when it comes to Hercules, I know that at first it does seem like a bit of a pretty strange choice. Like, you wouldn't necessarily think that Hercules would be the kind of movie that would easily transcend onto Broadway, and especially with the factor that it is a lot more fantasy-based, especially the fact that it would go deep into Greek mythology, and of course you got all the different variety of characters, from Pain and Panic to Pegasus to the I was about to say the gargoyles, but now we're just going into Hunchback territory. Like, you see Hugo just doing a chess match with Pegasus. It's like, I'm losing to a horse bird. But okay, going back into this, you think about all the fantasy elements from Hercules, and it would seem like a bit of a strange addition to be of a Disney animated film turning into a stage musical. But in this case right over here, but like, the more you think about it, the more you realize, yeah, you know what? It actually does make sense. Like, you can actually see how Hercules can actually work out as an actual show. It can actually work out as a legitimate stage show, because the thing with Hercules is that you listen to some of the music, and debatably, you could say that those songs can work much better on stage than they probably would in an animated film like this. Especially, like, you think of the Muse characters, and then, like, you think of all the different elements, and then you suddenly realize, yeah, there are plenty of ways, you know, like, it's actually kind of easier to actually take a show like Hercules and just bring it onto the stage. Now, this isn't necessarily Broadway, because this is going to be an outdoor performance, but still, you could see with the minimal work that they would need, it's easy to go and build up the costumes. It's actually easy to see how the muses can actually come onto the stage and perform many of their songs. It's actually easy to see the ways that they could bring Hercules and just bring it out into this. It's actually quite, it's not that difficult to go and imagine. And honestly, I feel like that could actually be a really fun show to go and deliver, because I know that with Hercules, that's an animated movie that does have a very huge cult status. Maybe it's not one of the best animated films for the Disney Renaissance, but oh boy, there are a lot of fans that absolutely adore Hercules. Rather it be loving Go the Distance, or they love some of the characters like Phil or Hades, or like they just love the crazy art style that is inspired by the artist who worked on Pink Floyd's The Wall. There are a lot of different elements that people absolutely adored from Hercules, and I could see that there are ways that you can easily transcend this and bring it onto the stage. Debatably a lot more than most of the other Disney animated films. Like, if you think about it, they already did stuff like Hunchback of Notre Dame and bring it onto the stage. And then, of course, like, we have like the prime example that Disney can bring anything onto the stage with The Lion King. If The Lion King can become one of the most successful Broadway shows of all time, then they should have no problem helping out turning Hercules into a stage show. So, honestly, on that front, we don't have much other information about it, but I'm pretty certain this could actually turn out, like, in the right hands, it can actually work out very, very well, and it could be very fun, and who knows, it can actually turn out to be something that would be much bigger, and maybe this show would actually be so successful that maybe in the future we could actually see a legitimate Hercules Broadway show. So it could be a very good step for Disney's next big spectacle to come out. Now, just want to go and put in a bit of an emphasis, though, that, as I stated before, it's only going to be on for a very limited time. So if you are in New York City and you're walking around Central Park sometime between August 30th and September 8th, if you're in between that time, then you can easily get your chance to go and catch a showing of this feature. I think it is on I think that is during Labor Day. I don't know if you Americans got that at the beginning of September, but I know we Canadians, our Labor Day is in the, I think it's the same thing. Now, this is during Labor Day, so I think this is honestly kind of like a good ending to summer vacation before people go back to school. So, honestly, this is actually a pretty solid idea. So, overall, I think, I feel like with public theater, it's in good hands. They might actually have something great with this, and who knows, maybe this will turn out to be much bigger than we could ever imagine. So we'll just have to we'll just wait and see with how it goes. And once again, just to repeat, the show will be on between August 30th through September 8th at the Della Corte Theater in Central Park. I might have butchered saying the theater's name, but still, it's going to be on during that time, so we'll just have to wait and see with how that goes. And so, with that said, I want to go now and try to pass on to the mic to the chat wall, and I want to know, what do you guys think of the idea of a Hercules stage musical? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate it? Do you think it could have potential? Do you think it's going to flop? Let me know what you all think right over here. Okay. Alright, let's see now. Let's see. Do you think that we'll get Hades to sing in this? He's like one of the best villains from the Disney Renaissance, and it's a shame that he didn't get his own song, unlike Scar, Gaston, Ursula, Frollo, and Radcliffe. Then again, Shan Yu and Clayton didn't get their own songs either. Well, they did mention here that they are going to put in some additional songs by David Zappel and Alan Menken, so I feel like there is a very strong possibility. I think, like, if they're going to add songs, then they'll definitely include at least one musical number for Hades. So I think that's kind of like a guarantee right over there. Let's see. Do we have any other comments? I I think this might turn out. I think this might turn out to be great. If it works for some of the other Disney films like Little Mermaid, Lion King, Mary Poppins, Frozen, and mostly Aladdin, then certainly it can work for Hercules, especially with music from Alan Menken. In fact, who put the cloud in the gladiator? Hercules! Alright, let's see. It seems interesting. I'm not a big fan of musical Broadway. It could work. I hope it does well and not become a disaster like Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I'm not sure you've heard of it, but it was not a good show. Also, Phil Lord, that they went planning on throwing a joke in the movie before it was cut. Oh man, that would have been great to see. I think what he's referring to is that apparently they wanted to do a little jab at Turn Off the Dark, but that would have been great. I'm not sure if they actually did though, but no, that would have been a great idea. Like, I'm sure that with Spider-Verse, they had tons of ideas that didn't make it, but I'm sure, like, with that said, I'm sure that's going to be more the reason why we need to go and get the Blu-ray and DVD of Spider-Verse, because I'm sure, like, all the different deleted scenes are going to be pure freaking gold on that point. Okay, let's see now. I think it's years too late, considering that there was a Hercules musical on the Disney Cruise Line until it was replaced by Toy Story the musical. No. Honestly, no. There is a major difference between a stage musical on the Disney Cruise and then, like, a musical on Broadway. Like, there is a huge difference between those two. I'm just saying. Like, technically right now, I know that at least in one of the Disney Cruise Lines, they do have a musical of Beauty and the Beast, and they did it completely differently. So, like, the cruise shows and the stage musicals in New York, they're two completely different things. I don't think it was, you gotta split those two different fields. Alright, let's see now. We also got another one. I think I missed one. AniMat's, did you know that there was a Madagascar musical? I've honestly never heard of that. Is there? But anyways, someone mentioned there should be a Broadway version of The Prince of Egypt. Well, I don't know if you know about that, but nobody said that there wasn't a musical of The Prince of Egypt. I think it was off Broadway, but a stage musical of Prince of Egypt? Yeah, you think it's a great idea, but I'm just saying, yeah, it is a great idea. That's why it exists. So I'm just putting it right there. Okay, so with all that said and done, it is now time that we shall all move forward to the grand finale. And boy, do I have a very fascinating grand finale for you guys right over here. Okay, in this case, this is probably my strangest discovery of the week. It was honestly insane. It's just, I look at this and it's just like, it's hard to even wrap my head around it right now. Because honestly, it's something that you guys can't even believe. So with that said, a lot of people have been guessing. It's like, oh, are you going to do a trailer? Are you going to talk about, like, some of the trailers that came out in the Super Bowl, like Missing Link or Wonder Park or Toy Story 4? No, not any of those, guys. What I'm talking about is this. Behold! The farting troll! Yes, what you are seeing is real. And it's happening right now. This is a legitimate thing that exists. So for those of you that are only listening and are confused, this is something that's going on at Universal Orlando. At Universal Studios Orlando, they have introduced a brand new meet and greet mascot in the form of Guy Diamond from DreamWorks Trolls. Now, Guy Diamond would be seen next with already existing mascots of Trolls with the main characters Branch and Poppy. But Guy Diamond here, he actually has a very unique ability. It's a massive innovation in the field of theme parks. Probably more innovative since, never has there been anything that's so innovative in a theme park since the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Where Guy Diamond, You see, the thing is, unlike Branch and Poppy, Guy Diamond is naked. And on his costume, he has a legitimate butt. And from that butt, he would legit fart out glitter. I do have a little clip here. This is a YouTube video from Attractions Magazine. So here's a little clip where these guys, they're just dancing around. Yeah, you see they're dancing around. They're all having fun. Then... yeah, so did you hear that little moment of just... That's Guy Diamond literally turning around, preparing his butt, and glitter would come out of it. So ladies and gentlemen, we legit have the first ever meet and greet character in history who not only has a butt, but with a legit functioning butthole, where glitter comes out when he farts. That's a legitimate thing that is happening at Universal Studios Orlando. And I just look at this, and I'm just like, it just blows my mind that we are at the point that this thing pretty much exists. Like, I look at this clip, and it makes me want to go to Universal Studios Orlando, go into their boardroom meeting, and I have to ask the big question, who the fridge is responsible for this? Who is legitimately responsible for making a theme park mascot with a butt and can fart glitter out of it? Whose legit idea was that? I want to know. I need to know. I want to know the story about the making of this thing. Where did they get this kind of concept? Like, I can only imagine that there is a boardroom meeting with the big people of the Universal Studios theme park division, and they were pretty much telling their guys, all right, everybody, we need to find a way to be innovative. We need to give them an experience that they wouldn't find anywhere else, especially something that Disney would never even do. What do you guys think? Well, like, should we, and honestly, we need to go a little bit more in the supply of theme parks. So, should we try something new? Should we try, like, maybe a new How to Train Your Dragon ride? Should we do, like, a Kung Fu Panda show? Should we put in a little bit of updates on the Shrek experience? What do you guys think? I got an idea! Alright, listen up, everybody, because this is gonna be epic. Alright, Trolls? Alright, so we're gonna do a ride on Trolls? No. Alright, we got these mascots walking around, like, what's their name? Branch and Poppy. Alright, we're gonna have another one. Let's get that silver glittery troll. We're gonna bring that guy, the one with the green nose? Okay, he's gonna be joining them. They're gonna be dancing. But the silver glittery guy, he's gonna turn around. He's gonna show his butt to everyone. And he's gonna fart. And not only that, because it's a troll, he's gonna fart out glitter. Like, glitter is gonna come out of his butt. What do y'all think, guys? And the best thing about it is that this is gonna be cheap. It's less expensive than a ride. It's less expensive than a show. We don't have to hire voice actors. We just need to make a costume that has a functioning butt where the glitter would come out and fart. What do y'all think? Well, I forgot to mention that we don't have that big of a budget, so, you know what? Okay, let's just do what this guy is saying. Hooray! So, honestly, that's my idea of what the fridge happened with this. Like, I don't know, like, why would... okay, you know what? I want to know. I need to ask fans of Trolls. Okay, this is a question that is aimed directly for people who love the 2016 DreamWorks movie of Trolls. I want to ask you guys, is this what you want? Is this literally something that you legitimately asked for and that you want to actually go see? Like, did you watch Trolls and you see characters like Guy Diamond? Like, when you would see Guy Diamond, where he would fart out glitter as like a stupid lowbrow gag, would you look at that and you would think to yourself, you know what? I want that to happen in real life. I want to meet Guy Diamond and I want him to fart glitter all over me. That would be the real dream. Is this what you want? Do you want a real life farting Guy Diamond farting out freaking glitter? Is this? I want to know. Who the fridge asked for this? who the fridge wanted a farting guy diamond? Like, what the it's just such an insane idea. And oh my god, you know, and also I just want to go and mention that there is a bit of a sad element to it, is that the thing with Guy Diamond, with this farting troll, is that you would see them, they would have their dance, they're happy, but no matter what, with this Guy Diamond troll, they always have to have janitors on standby. And I am fully serious, because once their little show, their little dance is over, they gotta have janitors on the side to go and clean up the fart glitter. So that's the thing, is that there is a bit of a cost when it comes to having this Guy Diamond mascot walking around, is that you always gotta have people walking on the side to clean up the farts. I mean, how sad is it now to be a janitor at Universal Studios Orlando, where you gotta be responsible for cleaning up what's basically troll farts? Yeah, it's just glitter, but still, it came out of the freaking butt of a troll, so your job legitimately has to include cleaning up troll fart. You gotta clean up troll farts. You gotta clean up troll farts that's on the floor. And I mean, considering that it literally is things that's coming out of his butt, you know, it's coming out of Guy Diamond's butt. Would you say that this is kind of like a shart in a way? Like, maybe that's the thing, is that maybe this is a troll's way of sharting, where, like, technically, yeah, it is a fart, but stuff is still coming out of it. So would that count as a legitimate like, this is a meet and greet sharting troll? I don't know, like, you know, it makes me think, what the fridge is next? Like, what's gonna be next on the menu? Are we gonna soon see, like, is the next character, okay, we got the James Corden fat troll, and his special thing is that he can poop out cupcakes, because that's a joke in Trolls. Let's go and let's have a character just poop cupcakes, where the cupcake is gonna slowly come out of his butthole, and then just plop out, and the kids can go eat it. Is this the direction that Universal is trying to go with the freaking Trolls franchise? Holy crap, I don't know, I just feel like this is just absolutely insane, but then again, it could work. This is something that it would work. I mean, you wouldn't go and forget your moment with meeting a meet and greet character that would fart and would fart out glitter, like, you wouldn't forget that. And it is a unique experience that would have people talking about it. I mean, I'm currently talking about it right now. So honestly, you know, maybe it would work to have people get some notoriety, to have people talk about it. Maybe that's the whole purpose of this. I mean, it really did, like, this article on the Huffington Post, like, it did get people talking about it. Like, you see all these different tweets with people, oh yeah, here it is. Oh my god, here it is. This is what I was talking about. I just gotta go on something on the side. That, here it is. Yeah, this is the crew. You got the people coming in. Okay, show is over. Now they gotta, you know, they gotta lock away the whole area. And they have to have these guys, these poor guys coming in, cleaning up the troll shart. They gotta, you know, okay, you know, Guy Diamond, he just farted out his glitter, so now we gotta go and freaking clean it up. Man, this is a sad sight right over here, guys. Such a sad sight that you gotta wait for the freaking janitors to come in and clean all that up. Oh my god, it's just, I just can't help but feel like this is so ridiculous. We need to see this again. Well, here, let's just show this little clip once again. There it is! Yay! Grand finale! He freaking farted! Just right in front of our face. Just, what the fridge? I mean, I guess maybe this joke has already been done, but I might as well just say it here just in case that, honestly, the best way to summarize this up is that it really did bring in a whole new meaning to glitter bomb. Like, what the fridge? Is this, like, seriously, who asked for this? Who thought that this was godforsaken okay? Oh my god. Oh man, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I want to know from the chat wall now, guys. Now this is your turn to speak up and say, what do you think about this? What is your opinion on Universal Orlando's new mascot of Guy Diamond from Trolls? Would you guys want to go and take a picture of Guy Diamond? Do you guys want to go and take a picture while he's farting out glitter? Let me know what you think, guys. Let me tell you. Okay. Well, I want to know what you guys think. I think some of the Universal executives were high off their butts. Probably one of them saying, you know what will bring the big bucks? Let's have one of the characters from our film Trolls to greet the guests. But you know what's been missing all this time? Fart glitter. Well, we don't need to put a lot of effort into it, so sure, why not? Oh boy. Let's see. There was one moment in Trolls where he farted on that crocodile and his butt became shiny. Oh god. I farted and I became shiny. Oh my god. Like, is this something, like, that does bring up a very good question. Is this farting troll something that Tamatoa from Moana would approve? Like, would it really be something that he would say, yes, I love this. Fought all over my shell to make it more shiny. Oh my god. Let's see. AniMat, I think it's a better idea of a meet and greet minions who has a fart gun and shoot you because I can't smell anything. I don't know. I wouldn't know about that. Alright, so do we have any other comments about this? Okay, what is this? Which is worse, this or the whole Rule 34 version of Trolls? This? No. Oh, what's worse? Okay, no, what's worse? Rule 34. At least a fart is a fart. Rule 34, well, you could go beyond farts. Like, I'm sure that some of them would even enjoy this in a sexual way. So, I don't know. There could be worse. All right, let's see now. I don't know why Universal Orlando thinks this is a good idea. That's like the lowest common denominator to audiences who want to enjoy the theme park. I hope Disney doesn't do this, since I have bring this kind of stuff in their bad movies. I don't think Disney would really go towards that direction. I don't think they would legitimately have a character that would be made just for the purpose of a fart. In fact, I think farting is kind of below Disney. I'll just put it right there. Like, they wouldn't go that low and create a character that would legitimately fart in the same way that Guy Diamond would go. It's either that this is beneath Disney or this is above Disney. This is above, maybe like some people would say, like, this is above Disney standards. We have reached the peak of theme park mascot technology, you know? Oh my god. But anyways, I think with all of that said, that should be pretty much it with today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. What a wild episode that this has been, and I hope that we can go and continue it for the next episodes. Maybe we will see more crazy things like the farting troll right over here, but who knows? But all I could say right now is that I want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you later, dudes!